Picture this. I'd just come back from burying my father in Montana, still raw with grief, only to find my $85,000 handmade boat gone. 6 days away, and Sarah's dream, the boat I'd built with my own hands to honor my late wife, vanished from my dock. And then, right when the Coast Guard pulled them over mid-lake, the HOA president looked an officer in the eye and claimed it was hers, until he asked for registration and she froze like stone. My name's Tank Morrison, 52, Coast Guard veteran mechanic widower. I don't look for trouble. I fix neighbors' docks, I help winterize boats, I keep my head down. Pine Lake Estates was supposed to be peaceful 147 homes wrapped around 200 acres of private water. But peace doesn't last long when someone like Vivian Blackthorne shows up. She moved into her multi-million-dollar mansion 8 years ago and clawed her way onto the HOA board. Within months, she was president. Within years, she turned the place into her personal kingdom. She was the kind of woman who'd cite an elderly neighbor for a mailbox shade or bully a Vietnam vet until he moved away. She knew how to sniff out the vulnerable people who wouldn't fight back. For a while, I thought my military bearing and quiet life put me out of her reach. But grief makes you a target. While I was saying goodbye to my father, she decided my boat wasn't mine anymore. It was community property. I remember pulling into my driveway that evening, gravel crunching under the tires. The dock looked wrong. Cleats bent, rope burns etched into the wood, red Solo cups floating in the shallows, and across the lake, faint music and laughter. The low rumble of my engine. My heart dropped straight into my stomach. Mrs. Patterson, my neighbor, appeared with guilty eyes. Tank. I'm sorry. Vivian said it was fine, said the community needed it for Brittany's graduation party. Through my binoculars, I saw it. Sarah's dream, tied up at Vivian's private dock, kids in caps and gowns, clinking champagne glasses, posing for Instagram. My hands were shaking, but my voice stayed calm as I crossed the street. The Blackthorne mansion was lit up like a Hollywood set. String lights, barbecue smoke, the smell of perfume and entitlement thick in the air. And there she was, Vivian center stage in a flowing white dress holding court like she owned the damn lake. Excuse me, I said. Conversation stopped. She turned, a smile, sharp as glass. Mr. Morrison, how lovely. My condolences about your father. I hope you don't mind we borrowed your little boat for Brittany's celebration. It was just sitting there. That's my boat, Mrs. Blackthorne. I need it back. She tilted her head like I was a child refusing to share toys. Oh, let's not make a scene. How about $200 for the inconvenience? She reached into her purse like she was tipping a valet. My jaw clenched. Ma'am, that boat isn't for rent. It's private property. Her eyes went cold. Private property. We live in a community, Mr. Morrison. The HOA bylaws clearly address resource sharing during member absences. Lies. No such thing existed. But she leaned in and whispered, I'd hate for there to be misunderstandings about violations at your dock. And just like that, the war began. 3 days later, I got the official violation notice, unauthorized dock modifications. The photos showed the very damage her people caused stealing my boat. Fine $150 plus $50 a day until I fixed it. She'd turned her theft into my crime. I sat at my kitchen table staring at the letter my father's death certificate still on the counter. Grief piled on grief. Part of me wanted to give in, sell the house, leave the lake, disappear. Maybe I was the problem. Maybe I'd brought this on myself by staying quiet too long. There was a moment staring into my coffee where I thought, maybe I should just walk away. But then I remembered Sarah dragging me to that homeowners' rights seminar years back. The lawyer's voice echoed in my head. HOAs can't penalize you for damage they caused. Retaliation is actionable. My wife had seen something in me I didn't see in myself. That memory lit a fuse. I made some calls. Rick at Murphy's Marina confirmed Vivian had been showing up for weeks, fueling my boat-paying cash. My Coast Guard buddy Jake pulled marina records. She'd been running unlicensed charters, pocketing cash, crossing county lines, federal crimes. Suddenly, it wasn't just about a stolen boat. It was theft fraud, a whole operation. When Vivian realized I wasn't folding, she doubled down. A letter circulated accusing me of PTSD outbursts, unstable veteran behavior. She wanted to cut off my VA benefits, destroy my credibility. At an emergency HOA meeting, she pushed through boat inspection rules retroactively banning mine from the lake. In every neighbor's mailbox, letters painting me as a dangerous man fixated on community property. I almost lost faith again until Martha Caldwell knocked on my door. 78 years old, tiny, trembling, clutching a manila envelope. Tank, she did the same thing to my Harold before he died. She bullied him to his grave. I couldn't fight her, but you can. Inside years of violation notices, recordings, photos, proof Vivian was running a campaign of extortion. That's when I knew it wasn't just my fight, it was everyone's. With Santos, the county prosecutor, and Jake on Marine Patrol, we built a plan. We wired Sarah's dream with cameras and mics. Let Vivian steal it one more time. Labor Day weekend, she was hosting a community leadership celebration, charging $12,000 to some law firm for a luxury charter. Guests, media county officials, all of them unknowingly walking into a federal sting. The day came bright skies, perfect water. From Martha's porch, I watched through binoculars. Vivian, in a red dress, microphone in hand, bragging about community stewardship while my boat sat behind her packed with paying customers. A string quartet played. Cameras rolled. Then the low rumble of twin federal engines echoed across the lake. A Coast Guard patrol boat approached, lights flashing. Attention vessel operator prepared to be boarded for inspection. Vivian grabbed the mic, her voice shrill. "Officer, this is a private community event, not commercial." Jake's voice boomed back, "Ma'am, we have reports of unlicensed passenger operations. Present ownership documentation." Her hands shook as she pulled out forged papers. "This vessel belongs to the HOA for community safety." That's when I stepped out onto the dock in plain view of the cameras. My voice carried across the water. "I'm Thaddeus Morrison. That's my boat. She's been operating it illegally for months." The color drained from her face. In front of 50 witnesses, local officials, and the news crew, Santos raised her badge. "Mrs. Blackthorne, you are under federal investigation for theft, embezzlement, and racketeering. Cooperate with Coast Guard boarding procedures." Agents swarmed the vessel. Tommy's hidden cameras were still rolling, catching every word. On Vivian's open laptop, wire transfers to offshore accounts, fraudulent insurance claims, HOA funds funneled into her business. Handcuffs clicked around her wrists. Her red dress looked less like power and more like desperation. She screamed that I was unstable, that she was the victim. Nobody believed her. Not with the cameras flashing, not with federal agents leading her off my boat. And me, I didn't feel triumph, just relief. Relief that the nightmare was ending, that my neighbors finally saw the truth, that Sarah's dream and Sarah's memory wouldn't be stolen by a woman drunk on power. The lesson: bullies thrive on silence. The moment you refuse to stay quiet, their whole kingdom collapses.